3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back to Two-Wheel Velocity, the podcast where we celebrate the thrill of speed, technology, and the machines that push the limits of what's possible. Today, we're diving into one of the most mind-blowing pieces of aviation history, the X-15, the aircraft that shattered the records and soared to unimaginable heights. Buckle in, because we're about to take you on a journey that will leave you breathless. Alright folks, it's time to take a step back in history and witness the launch of one of the most groundbreaking aircraft ever built. The legendary X-15 marvel of engineering, this rocket-powered beast pushed the boundaries of speed, altitude, and human capability. Here we go, reliving the moments before it rode to life. Let's dive in.
Views coming on now. First. Number 2 on now. Real slow to pick up hydraulic pressure. It grabbed off in about 5 seconds.
3 minutes to drop.
Going to jettison. Fuel jettisoning. Full jettisoning. Okay, good check. Prime's coming on now.
Chase call Prime. Launch operator can't see it. Yeah, you got a blossom on the bottom one. And they're both looking good. 30 seconds. Give me ready to launch light.
It'll launch right on.
Launch light on. Okay, Scotty, you ready?
I'm ready when you are, buddy.
Okay, here we go with the countdown.
When most people think of speed, they think of a high-performance car or a fast motorcycle zooming down the open road. But there's one machine that absolutely blows all of that away. A machine that set the bar for what could be achieved in aviation. The X-15. Built in the late 1950s, the X-15 was a rocket-powered experimental aircraft designed by NASA and the US Air Force to explore the extremes of aerodynamics, high-speed flight, and the boundaries of space itself. Let's start with the basics. The X-15 was a rocket-powered aircraft, not a jet. That meant it didn't rely on traditional jet engines that burn air for thrust. Instead, it had a powerful rocket engine fueled by a mix of liquid oxygen and anhydrous ammonia, creating thrust strong enough to propel it to speeds that most people couldn't even fathom. The result? A machine that could reach a maximum speed of 4,420 miles per hour over 6 times the speed of sound. That's Mach 6.7. To put that into perspective, if you were on the X-15, you could travel from New York to Los Angeles in less than 40 minutes, flying faster than a bullet. Flying based on numbers, the numbers counting down from 40 to 5 minutes puts. But speed wasn't the only thing that made the X-15 extraordinary. This wasn't just about breaking records. It was about pushing the envelope of what we understood about flight and space. The X-15 took pilots to the edge of space, literally. It was designed to fly at altitudes of 50 miles and above, which is where space begins. In fact, the X-15 flew into space 12 times, with pilots being awarded astronaut wings for crossing the 50-mile mark. This was a time when space exploration was still in its infancy, and the X-15 played a crucial role in helping scientists and engineers understand how human beings could survive and thrive beyond Earth's atmosphere. Now, imagine what it would be like to be one of the brave pilots who took the X-15 into the skies. The experience was unlike anything else. You're sitting in a cramped cockpit surrounded by a maze of dials and gauges, your helmet tightly secured, knowing that within seconds you'll be hurtling toward the edge of space. The X-15 didn't have the luxury of modern-day flight controls. Everything had to be precise, from the angle of ascent to the handling of the aircraft's complex rocket system. The speed and altitude were so extreme that even slight errors in control could mean disaster. The very first flight of the X-15 took place on June 8, 1959, piloted by William J. Pete Knight, and from that moment on, the aircraft was an engineering marvel. But it wasn't just about getting to high speeds, it was about learning how to control and survive flight at those speeds. With temperatures rising over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit due to air friction, the X-15's skin would literally glow red hot during high-speed flights. The aircraft was equipped with special heat-resistant materials, and the pilots wore custom-built spacesuits to protect them from the intense heat and low pressure at high altitudes. The X-15 also had to deal with something even more critical: extreme aerodynamic forces. At over Mach 6, the forces on the aircraft were so great that the air flowing over the wings and fuselage would behave in ways that engineers had never seen before. To manage this, the aircraft was designed with cutting-edge technology: a nose that could pivot to adjust the angle of attack, wings that were specially designed for high-speed flight, and sophisticated instruments to measure temperature and pressure across the airframe. The combination of these innovations allowed the X-15 to remain stable even at its mind-blowing speeds. Now, let's talk about the pilots who dared to take the X-15 into the unknown. These men were true pioneers of aviation and space. Among the most famous was Neil Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon. Armstrong flew the X-15 on several occasions, and the data collected from these flights helped him prepare for his later role in the Apollo missions. But it wasn't just Armstrong. There were other legendary test pilots like Joe Engie, who later flew the space shuttle, and Michael Collins, who was part of the Apollo 11 mission to the moon. Out of the most unforgettable moments came on October 3, 1967, when pilot William J. Pete Knight flew the X-15 to a record speed of 4,520 miles per hour, nearly reaching Mach 7. This was a pivotal moment in aviation history, as Knight became one of the first people to experience speeds that no one had ever thought possible. Flying at those speeds was a surreal experience. At Mach 6.7, the air outside the aircraft was so thin that it didn't provide much lift, making the aircraft feel like it was constantly on the edge of falling out of the sky. But Knight handled it with precision, keeping the X-15 stable as it ripped through the stratosphere. But as extreme as the X-15 was, there were risks. One of the major challenges was the flight's re-entry. After soaring through the upper reaches of the atmosphere, the X-15 had to descend back into the denser layers of air. The combination of speed, altitude, and atmospheric pressure meant that pilots had to make incredibly precise, split-second decisions to guide the aircraft back to Earth. There were several close calls, and many of these flights pushed the pilots and their machines to the very limits of endurance. About 199 test flights, the X-15 program came to a close in 1970. The aircraft had provided invaluable data that helped shape the future of aerospace, influencing everything from space shuttles to modern fighter jets. It also helped us understand the dangers of high-speed flight, the behavior of materials in space, and the possibilities of human space exploration. Although the X-15 was retired, its legacy lives on, pushing the boundaries of technology and human achievement. One thing is clear: the X-15 wasn't just an aircraft. It was a testament to human ingenuity, a symbol of the relentless pursuit of knowledge, and a vehicle that took humanity closer to the stars. Whether you're riding on two wheels or exploring the edge of space, it's about the same thing: the drive to go faster, push farther, and conquer the impossible. That's all for today's episode of Tools of Velocity. I hope you enjoyed hearing about the incredible X-15 and the men who piloted it. If this story of speed and innovation inspired you, be sure to subscribe, share, and leave us a review. Until next time, keep the throttle open, stay curious, and always push the limits.